Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson. We're continuing our study of the Gospel of Matthew, and we're going to be in Matthew chapter 15. I'm going to be reading verses 21 through 28. We have kind of a break in the action. Jesus has been in Galilee. Now he's going to go north to Tyre and Sidon, which is present-day Lebanon. It was the old Phoenician kingdom in the past, and today we know it as Lebanon. But the district of Tyre and Sidon, these two large, powerful, prosperous city-states that were under the control of the Roman Empire. And he's going to come in contact with a Canaanite woman there who knows a lot about Jesus and has a lot of faith in him. Jesus went away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman came out from that region and began to cry out, saying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is cruelly demon-possessed." But he didn't answer her a word. And his disciples came to him and kept asking him, saying, "Send her away, for she is shouting after us." But he answered and said, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and began to bow down before him, saying, "Lord, help me." And he answered and said, "It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs." But she said, "Yes, Lord, but even the dogs feed on the crumbs which fall from their master's table." And Jesus answered and said to her, "O woman, your faith is great. Be it done as you wish." And her daughter was healed at once. This is a curious episode in the life of Jesus. It's the one time in all of his actions that you and I might think, why is he doing this? Why is he not answering her? Why did he call her a dog? Let's think about this for a bit. It helps me in thinking about this parable to remember what happened with the raising of Lazarus. How Jesus waited for 3 days before he went there, and he allowed Lazarus to suffer and die because he was intending to raise Lazarus after he had been dead for a long time. It was the will of God. It was an unprecedented miracle that is the climax of his public ministry. And yet, people he cared about suffered because of that. And it teaches us that even when you do everything right, exactly as God has commanded it, in a sinful world, you can still hurt people that you care about. And you can have done nothing wrong, and it still be your fault. And I think this is an episode in which Jesus has some lessons to teach, and so he lets this play out a little longer than you and I are comfortable with. In the first place, he wants to know how the apostles are going to react to this woman, and in the second place, he wants to know how this woman is going to react to him. She's a Canaanite. She's not a Jew, a Canaanite. She is ethnically from those people that God said to eliminate from the earth whenever the conquest was made back in the book of Joshua. We've met Sidonian women before having good relationships with prophets because Elijah raised from the dead the son of a Sidonian widow who had befriended him in 1 Kings chapter 17. She knows something about Jesus because she calls him Lord and she calls him Son of David. What would a Canaanite know from the Son of David? But she does. And in calling Jesus Son of David, she is claiming that he is the Messiah, like blind Bartimaeus does in Mark's Gospel. She calls him Son of David. She's not ashamed to do it, not afraid to do it. You are the Messiah. And I need you to help my daughter. My daughter is cruelly demon-possessed. We don't know how old her daughter is, but not old enough to be married, so she could be as young as 2. She could be as old as 13. Is she truly demon-possessed, or is that what they're calling it? As we've said in this study and in our time together before in the past, human taxonomy is human taxonomy. In the first century, everything that was dermatological was leprosy until they knew it wasn't. And this might have been epilepsy, but it might have been demon possession. We don't know. But something was wrong with her daughter, and he doesn't answer her. And I think he's waiting to see how the apostles react to this Gentile. And they say, send her away. She's bugging us. And that's not the right response. And she bows down before Jesus and is saying this. And he says, what do you want me to do? And she said, I need you to help me. And he says, it's not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. Now, it's important that Jesus said little dog, lap dog, pets, not the pariah dogs, the wild dogs, the junkyard dogs that everybody knew. I don't know that that makes a big difference to you, but it does to me. Because Jesus doesn't call her a dog in the insulting way that it is used other places. Although, he still called her a lap dog. Why does he do this? Perhaps to see how she reacts. And she is so smart. She has the right thing to say. Even the dogs get the crumbs. I'm just asking you for the crumbs. And Jesus' response is overwhelming. He says, "Oh, woman, your faith is great. Be it done as you wish." I think the whole purpose is to show the apostles what true faith looks like. And how true faith is cloaked in humility. Because there are times when we don't understand why God has done things to us, or allowed things to happen, or if he has done them or allowed them to happen. And this woman was not going to be deterred from believing that Jesus could and would help her child. And he did. It's also the only time anyone ever in all four Gospels ever somewhat has the last word with Jesus. Jesus always has the last word. He always has the thing to say that ends the conversation. This is the one time when he does not. And I think that's by design. It's not that Jesus is bested. It's that Jesus intends for this woman to have the right answer so that we can see it, so that the apostles can see it and learn from her as the great example for us. Okay, thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes. A lot more healings to be done next time. We'll talk about that when we get there in verse 29. Thank you for joining me.